All right, this is Norvell Central coming back at you with another YouTube video. And at this time of the recording, I have 1,150 subscribers. So just want to thank everyone for all the love and the support. It's free to subscribe. So if you want to subscribe, just go right ahead. Be sure to like the video and feel free to tune in. But just want to start off with my thoughts on Winston Wright Jr. This is a conversation that Florida State fans have been having for quite some time. And he actually had an Instagram story recently where he was doing a live video with him rehabbing, doing some swimming in a pool, and then he was also catching some football passes. So it was very encouraging to see with that. You couldn't really see if there was a brace or anything like that. But I have spoken to some sources very, very close to him, and they really all anticipate him to be ready by week 0 against Duquesne. Now, everybody may be thinking, oh, well, that's a rush, but that's the kind of player he is. I mean, he's a certified, really good wide receiver, and Florida State added 4 wide receiver transfers, and he was the most productive out of all of them. I mean, if you look at his stats from West Virginia, I mean, you got from last season, he had 63 catches for 688 yards and 5 touchdowns, and that doesn't stop there. He also had 23 kickoff returns for 618 yards and a touchdown. He could have had 2. He got robbed for 1. But you even look at his kickoff average at West Virginia, and it was 50 returns for 1,236 yards, 24.7 average per return, and 2 touchdowns. I couldn't tell you the last time that I've actually seen a Florida State player get past the 30 in a kickoff return. And that's how important it's going to be for this season, punt returns, kickoff returns, to be successful. And here's the thing. I mean, you look at Florida State receivers from last season, and they were pretty much the bottom of the ACC, if not the worst in the ACC. Last season, Ontario Wilson had 23 catches, 382 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's probably good for about 6 or 7 games of a total of an average. But that's a whole season of 12 games. That's your problem. I mean, you got to look at also Andrew Parchman was their second leading receiver with 24 receptions, 313 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Hilton, 19 receptions for 285 yards and 2 touchdowns. Do you get kind of the theme going there? And I'm not all saying it's because they're receivers. I mean, they couldn't create separation. There were some limitations with Jordan Travis in the passing game, him staying healthy. There's a lot of different factors that you have to bolster into. But, I mean, Winston Wright, you look at his 688 yards from last season and 5 touchdowns, that almost doubles Ontario Wilson from last season. And this isn't just a fluke of 688 yards. I mean, this is a steady progression. I mean, his first season at West Virginia, he had 19 receptions for 97 yards. And then you turn around and he has 47 receptions for 555 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, there was steadily progression from year 1 to year 2 to year 3. And I mean, he was a all-conference performer at that point. And specifically, he's very good in the return game, so you're getting a return on your investment right away. And I am saying that he's going to have more opportunities if he's healthy. And the reasoning behind all of this, he did get in that wreck in Savannah, Georgia, that he was a passenger in the car. It wasn't really their fault or anything like that. It just kind of happened with that situation. And they thought the worst. They thought it was a really severe lower body injury, and that was initial thoughts and reactions to it. Now, granted, he had to go through some different rehab processes, and he's still going through some rehab processes right now. But really, it's important for him to continue that rehab process because, like I said, when he gets into game action, he's really into the feel of everything. That's when it's going to get hard on those legs to be able to function with most of those things. So I'm really excited to see what Winston Wright Jr. does this season because I really do think that he could be a special playmaker. I thought he had NFL potential. Now you look at the receivers they brought in, like Micah Pittman. I think he's a solid contributor. I think he's going to be solid for Florida State going forward this season. You got a guy like Johnny Wilson, who's not really been productive at Arizona State. Just like Micah Pittman, he's looking for another opportunity. He's 6'7", 230, and you're really wanting to see more production out of him. He had a hamstring injury, and he's battling some drop issues and everything, so you're hoping to see more production out of that. And then Deuce Spann, he's more of a developmental project. He developed over from quarterback over to wide receiver. We'll see how that goes. I mean, he's a very fast receiver. He doesn't really have a great route tree right now because really all it is just go routes at this point in his career so far. But from sources I've also spoken to as well about Deuce Spann, there is potential for the NFL. But like I said, he's got to put in the work, just like Winston Wright has to do this season. And whenever he did his initial thing to go into Florida State, Winston Wright, that is, he actually stated that this will probably be his last year, and he was anticipating the NFL at that point. So this just tells you how much confidence he has in his abilities and how the coaching staff feels about his abilities as well. He didn't really get to practice much during spring because he was still battling a nagging injury at that point. Really didn't participate in much, but he was really anticipating to practice during the summer, get those player-led workouts in, and then also turn around and go into the fall. Now, like I said, with the car accident and everything going on, that kind of backtracked some of his pushback, and you thought maybe he might see, you're hoping to see him at all this season. And progressively, it's gotten better. The sources have told me that this is a situation where Florida State might have lucked up. And Florida State's situation now, with the last 5 seasons, that is, they haven't had any luck. And you really want to see more production out of everything, and specifically at the receiver position. I mean, that's a position that you really thought that was going to really do well last season, because you brought in a guy like Andrew Parchment. You thought he would be the missing piece, and he only had 318 yards. So really what you're hoping out of Winston Wright Jr. is to have that 600, 700 yards, and then also have more alongside of that. Now, granted, if he's a 1,000-yard receiver, that would be fantastic, but you have to kind of look at the bright side of things as well. I mean, you're looking at a guy that has only had about 618 yards. So the ceiling is, kind of limited, because you got to kind of figure out what you have. Jordan Travis really isn't much of a thrower of the football as much. He likes to utilize the run game as well. And you're probably going to see a 60-40 split. And you're hopefully going to see more along the lines of what we did against North Carolina, where he went 11 for 13 in that game. And you saw the play action passes are working efficiently. The running game was an all-time high, and you're seeing more of those weapons being utilized. The offensive line is much improved, and they brought in 6 recruits, and then also 2 transfers. And you're really hoping that that is what is going to spring everything together, because really, if you're looking at the defensive side of the ball, there's 9 starters, and you really know what to expect from the defense. They're probably going to be top 3 in the ACC. Now, offensive-wise, you're hoping to get to that average standpoint, because last season it was below average, because you were sharing time with Mackenzie Milton and Jordan Travis. There was different injuries throughout the year with offensive line and everything, and wide receivers weren't creating separation. Tight ends weren't really creating separation either, but you're losing Jordan Wilson, so that's even worse at this point. So now you have to have someone step up in those playmaker standpoints. And really, when you're looking at it, Winston Wright is a perfect complement for everything that's going on. And now you just have to get him healthy. You don't have to rush him back. So if you don't have him for Duquesne, you don't have him for Duquesne. If you want to play him for a series and get out of there, that's totally fine. I mean, we're probably going to win 50-0, hopefully, if all goes right. And you're going into LSU with a huge game at your hands. So he's very excited to have week 0 being a possible pushback date, and being able to play that game and really put his mark on this season. But we'll definitely see with everything. I just want to see everyone being healthy as they possibly can, specifically Winston Wright. I want him to be in fall camp, and I want him to participate as high as he can, but we'll definitely see. But I just want to thank everyone for watching the video today. I just wanted to share my thoughts on the Winston Wright situation, because I know a lot of rumors are coming out, and I know that with the video surfacing and everything like that, everybody wanted some clarity on everything, and that's what I got so far. So if you like the video, be sure to like it, comment your thoughts on everything, comment even videos you want to see in the future. I'm all open to ideas right now. I'm just trying to push out as much as I can. YouTube side of things, I will probably have 2 videos per week, so just watch out for that. I'm going to try to push for more as we go through the summer with the recruiting and different things like that. So if you enjoy recruiting news, team news, everything about Florida State, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, it's free. Everyone enjoy and have a great rest of the day. And as always, go Noles.